Sometimes the loudest thing you'll ever hear is the silence of someone who stopped needing you. My friends, that one hits, doesn't it? Because we've all been fed the same lie, that people start missing you the second you walk away, that your absence instantly plants regret in their chest. But let me tell you the truth. It doesn't happen like that. Missing you for real is not instant, it's not automatic, and it's definitely not because you chased them hard enough. No, it happens in ways they never expected, in moments they never prepared for. And we're going to break that down together, step by step, so stay with me. But before we dive in, make sure you press that like button, hit subscribe, and join the family. Because here, we're not just talking about breakups, we're talking about building the kind of strength no one can take away from you. Hey folks, imagine this. You're a lighthouse standing tall on a rocky cliff. At first, they think they can sail away and find brighter lights somewhere else. They drift further, chasing the excitement of different shores. But one day, in the middle of a storm, they look around, and your light isn't there anymore. That's when it hits them, not when you were calling from the shore, not when you were waving your arms and shouting for them to stay, but when the sea gets dark and your light is gone. That's when they start to realize what they left behind. You see, most people think the way to make someone miss you is to show them how much you care, to prove your worth, to outlove their indifference. But that's the trap, my friends. That's like throwing wood into a fire you didn't start. It burns fast, but it's not your warmth they're feeling. It's their ego being fed. The truth? They don't miss you when you're chasing. They miss you when you stop. They miss you when your energy is no longer theirs to drain, when your attention is no longer their comfort, when your name no longer pops up at the exact moment they expect it to. It's funny, in a way. They think they're strong because they walked away first, or because they acted like they didn't care. But strength isn't walking away from something real. It's being able to stand still when your emotions want to run wild. It's being able to say, I'll let my absence do the talking. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In this case, the best revenge is not revenge at all. It's peace. And peace, my friends, is terrifying to someone who survives on chaos. Think about it like this. You're no longer in the boxing ring. You've stepped out, taken off the gloves, and walked away. They're still there, throwing punches at the air, waiting for you to swing back, but you don't. That's when they realize they weren't winning. They were shadowboxing their own reflection. And in that moment, their ego starts to crack. But here's the beautiful part. You're not doing any of this to make them hurt. You're not playing games. You're building something better. You're learning to walk with that quiet, unshakable kind of confidence that doesn't need anyone's permission to exist. You're teaching yourself that love without respect isn't love, and that you deserve more than to be an option in someone else's story. So as we go through this journey today, remember this. Your goal isn't to get them to miss you. Your goal is to get you to never miss yourself again. That's the real win. That's when you become untouchable. Write this in the comments. I choose peace over everything. And if you're ready to own your worth, my friends, make sure you press that like button, hit subscribe, and stay with me. Because what's coming next will open your eyes in ways you didn't see coming. Number 1. When ego meets silence. Ego is the mask of fear. It speaks loudest when the heart is most afraid. My friends, this is where it gets real. People expect conflict, not calm. They expect you to argue, not disappear. They think if they push you away, you'll run after them, arms wide, trying to prove your worth. But when they meet your silence, your steady, unshaken, unbothered stillness, it's like throwing a punch into the air. There's no resistance, no sound, no fuel for their fire. And suddenly, the game they thought they were winning feels empty. Picture this. You're at a chessboard, and they've been playing with this smug confidence, convinced they're 5 moves ahead. They're ready for you to make the predictable move they've already prepared for. But you don't move at all. You simply stand, push your chair back, and walk away from the table. They're left sitting there, staring at the pieces, wondering what just happened. It's not just confusing, it's unsettling. Because now, they're not in control of the game anymore. The board is irrelevant without you. They start asking themselves questions they didn't expect to ask. Why aren't you reacting? Why aren't you proving yourself? Have you stopped caring? Or worse, have you finally realized your worth and decided they're not worth the fight? This is when the cracks start forming. Not because you attacked them, but because you stopped defending yourself against someone who never should have been attacking you in the first place. Here's the lie they believed, that they could control the narrative, that if they acted like they didn't care, you would care more, that if they pulled away, you'd chase harder, that your ego was as fragile as theirs. And for a while, maybe they were right. Maybe you did respond. Maybe you did try to fix things. Maybe you poured your energy into proving you were worth staying for. But now your silence is the mirror they can't avoid. And mirrors are dangerous things when the ego is involved, because the ego doesn't want to see truth. It wants to see power. It wants to see control. But your silence reflects something different: freedom. It shows them they never actually had as much power over you as they thought. That realization is heavy, my friends. It sits in their chest like a stone. You have to understand why this is so hard for them to process. For someone whose identity thrives on control, silence isn't just absence, it's exposure. Without your reactions, without your energy feeding them, they're left with themselves. And if they've been using you as a distraction from their own emptiness, that emptiness is now unavoidable. It's like they've been living in a noisy room for years, and suddenly all the sound is gone. At first, the silence feels strange but manageable. Then, as the minutes stretch, they start to hear something they've been avoiding all along: their own thoughts, their own doubts, their own fears. That's the thing about silence. It's not empty. It's full of truth, full of weight, full of the things they can't drown out anymore. And here's where you rise above the old pattern. You don't break your silence to soothe them. You don't step back into the game to make them comfortable. You stay in your lane, grounded, steady. Because silence isn't about punishing them, it's about protecting you. It's the boundary that says, I will not fight for a place I should never have to fight for. It won't be easy. There will be moments you'll want to break it, to check if they've noticed, to see if they care. But remember this: silence only works when it's complete. A single crack, a single just checking in, and you hand the power right back. Your silence is the proof that you're no longer living for their attention, that you've stepped out of their approval cycle, that you've chosen peace over performance. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your silence is that strength in action. You're no longer reacting to their moves, you're living by your own, and that shift is something their ego can't handle, because it's the one thing they can't control: you. Over time, they'll start to feel the weight of it in unexpected ways. A song that reminds them of you. A joke they can't share because you're not there to laugh. A post they thought you'd react to, but you don't. These small, quiet moments add up, and soon your absence isn't just a gap, it's a presence in itself. It's the kind of presence that lingers because it's not tied to drama, anger, or pettiness. It's tied to self-respect, and self-respect is magnetic in a way ego will never understand. My friends, never forget this. Silence is not weakness. It's not running away. It's choosing not to stand in a place where you're only seen when you're loud. It's letting your absence speak where your words used to beg. And the beauty is, you're not even doing it to make them miss you. You're doing it so you can finally hear yourself again. So if you're in this moment right now, if you're holding your silence and wondering if it matters, trust me, it matters. More than you can see today. Because silence plants seeds in the mind, and over time, those seeds grow into the questions they can't stop asking themselves. And when their ego finally loses the battle to their own thoughts, that's when they'll start to miss you for real. Write this in the comments. My silence is my power. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you that you don't need to fight for what's already yours. And stay with me, because next, we're going to talk about the moment when all that attention they chased starts to feel like nothing at all. And that, my friends, is when the regret starts to burn. Number 2, when the thrill of attention turns hollow. The applause of the crowd means nothing when you know they'd cheer for anyone standing in your place. My friends, let's be real. When they first walk away, they feel powerful. They feel free. They step into the world with a smile that says, I'm fine. I don't need them. Look at me. And the world responds. Messages flood their inbox. Compliments pour in. They post a picture, and likes light up their phone like a slot machine. Strangers look at them with interest. Old flames circle back. It feels like proof that they made the right choice. Proof that they're still wanted. Proof that they can replace you anytime they want. In those early days, it's intoxicating. It's like eating cotton candy, sweet, colorful, exciting, but melts to nothing the moment you actually taste it. They convince themselves that this is fulfillment, that these comments, these smiles, these "you look great" messages are feeding them. And for a while, it works. They ride the wave of attention like a surfer on a summer day, thinking the ocean will always stay calm, that the tide will always lift them higher. But here's the thing about attention. It's loud, but it's not deep. And loud without depth always fades. At first, they don't notice. They're still high on the novelty of it all. But slowly, so slowly they don't even realize, it starts to lose its taste. The conversations feel predictable. The compliments sound recycled. People laugh at their jokes without really listening. The eyes looking at them are admiring the surface, but not touching the soul. And whether they admit it or not, that reality starts to gnaw at them. Because here's the truth, no one told them. Attention isn't the same as connection. Being wanted for how you look is not the same as being valued for who you are, and deep down, they know it. They start to notice the small things. Someone sends them a heart emoji, but doesn't ask how they're really doing. Someone invites them out, but barely listens when they speak. People see the highlight reel they post online, but no one sees the unfiltered moments that you used to hold without judgment. And in those tiny, empty spaces between all the noise, they start to feel the hollowness creeping in. It's like standing in a crowded room, music blasting, people everywhere, and yet feeling completely alone. They begin to compare, not out loud, not in front of anyone, but in their mind. A joke someone tells reminds them of the way you laughed at their humor before the punchline even landed. Someone compliments their outfit, but it doesn't land the same as when you notice the details no one else ever caught. Someone sits across from them at dinner, smiling, talking, but they don't feel the comfort they once felt when you sat there, even in silence. The crowd starts to feel like static, loud, constant, but empty, and in that static, they remember your voice, not just the sound, but the way it carried truth. The way it could cut through noise and settle straight into the heart. The attention that once felt like proof of their worth now starts to feel like a performance. They smile for the camera, laugh at the right moments, post the right captions, but inside, they're just going through the motions. Because here's the cruel trick of ego-driven attention. It tells you you're full while slowly starving you. The truth is, attention is cheap when it's given to anyone, and they start to see that. They start to realize that what they traded for this constant noise was the rare, quiet, unshakable kind of connection that doesn't need to be broadcast to be real. They thought leaving you meant leveling up, that replacing you meant winning. But over time, the reality hits them. Connection like that doesn't come around often, and you can't recreate it by collecting more likes, more followers, more admirers. Because those people don't know the way they overthink before bed. They don't know the sarcasm they use to hide their vulnerability. They don't know the little details, the ones you carried like treasures without ever being told. This realization doesn't hit like lightning. It creeps in like a shadow, growing longer and darker every day. They'll be out with friends, laughing, dancing, living the good life. And suddenly, in a moment they can't predict, they feel it. That quiet ache that whispers, "This isn't the same." They'll try to ignore it. They'll distract themselves, throw themselves deeper into the noise, post more, smile wider. But late at night, when the phone stops buzzing and the room is still, the silence will start to pull those thoughts to the surface. And once they start comparing, they can't uncompare. Once they start noticing the difference between attention and connection, every new encounter will feel a little more hollow than the last. The tragedy is that they won't admit it. Not to you, not to their friends, maybe not even to themselves. Pride won't let them. But inside, they know. The more they chase surface-level validation, the more they feel the weight of what they lost. And here's where you come in, not by stepping back into their world, but by staying exactly where you are. Because the worst thing they can experience is realizing that while they've been drowning in shallow waters, you've been swimming in your own deep ocean, building something real with yourself. You're not watching their performance anymore. You're not clapping from the crowd. You've left the theater entirely. And that, my friends, is when the show starts to feel meaningless for them. Because the person they actually wanted to impress isn't even watching. As Seneca once said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. They can have 100 admirers, but if they crave the one they lost, they will feel poorer than ever. So when they're standing there, surrounded by faces, hearing laughter, seeing notifications light up their screen, but feeling absolutely nothing, that's when the regret begins. That's when the truth starts to pierce through the glitter. And that's when they realize all the attention in the world means nothing if it doesn't come from the one person who truly saw them. Write this in the comments. Connection over attention, always. Show them, show yourself. Show the world around you that your worth was never in the noise. It was always in the depth. And stay with me. Because next, we'll talk about the moment when the memories they tried to bury start rising to the surface. And that, my friends, is when the real battle begins. Number 3, when the memories start competing with reality. The past doesn't knock, it walks right in when the present feels empty. My friends, here's the part no one warns them about. They think they've moved on. They convince themselves they're living in the moment, free from the weight of what was. They pack their days with new people, new conversations, new places. They keep their calendar full, their nights loud, their mornings rushed. They believe that if they just stay busy enough, the past will fade into the background, like an old song they've forgotten the words to. But memory doesn't play by those rules. Memory doesn't care how many new faces they see or how many new experiences they chase. Memory works in shadows. It doesn't arrive politely, it ambushes. At first, the new life feels exciting. There's novelty in it, and novelty can be intoxicating. They meet someone new, they laugh at different jokes, they explore places they never went with you, and for a short time, they believe this is it. This is what moving on feels like. But then it happens. A small, unassuming trigger that knocks the wind right out of them. Maybe they hear a song they once played with you in the car on a rainy night. Maybe they walk past a street corner where you once waited for them, smiling like you couldn't wait another second to see them. Maybe it's the smell of a certain coffee, the sound of a certain laugh, or even just the way the light falls at sunset that takes them back without warning. In that moment, the new life they've been building doesn't feel quite so bright. It feels thin, fragile, like a painting that looks good from far away, but starts to blur when you get too close. And without meaning to, they start comparing. They're sitting across from someone who, on paper, is everything they should want. They're attractive, interesting, maybe even more compatible than you in certain ways. But as they talk, something feels off. The rhythm isn't the same. They have to explain their jokes instead of being met with instant laughter. They have to work to be understood instead of being known instinctively. The silences feel heavy instead of comfortable. They try to push the thoughts away. They tell themselves, don't romanticize the past. It wasn't perfect. But memory doesn't operate on logic. It operates on feeling. And feelings don't care about bullet points or shoulds. They remember the way you could sit in silence and still feel connected. The way you knew when they needed space without them saying a word. The way you saw their flaws and stayed anyway, not because you had to, but because you chose to. It's not nostalgia for perfection. It's the echo of something real, and when reality starts to feel flat, those echoes get louder. Think of it like this. They're eating at a new restaurant, and the food is fine, it's decent. But then, out of nowhere, they remember a meal you once made for them. Simple, maybe even imperfect, but it had something this one doesn't: heart. And no matter how many dishes they try now, they can't replicate the flavor of something that was made with genuine care. That's what memory does. It doesn't just replay the highlight reels. It replays the feeling beneath them, and once that feeling is back in their awareness, it becomes the measuring stick for everything else. Suddenly, every conversation, every date, every quiet night feels like it's being weighed against something they thought they'd buried. The more they compare, the more they realize the gap isn't closing, it's growing. The new experiences might look good in photos, but they don't have the weight, the warmth, the depth of what they left behind. And here's the kicker: they start to notice that the more they try to create new memories, the more they feel the shallowness of them. Because you can't force depth, you can't manufacture history, you can't rush trust. And the hardest part for them? Admitting to themselves that they feel it. Pride is a stubborn thing. It won't let them say, I miss you, or I made a mistake. So instead, they carry it quietly. They'll put on a smile, go on another date, post another picture. But inside, the tug-of-war has already begun. 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the past. That split starts to wear them down. They can't be fully present with someone new because the shadow of what they had with you keeps brushing past them like a ghost in the room. They don't talk about it, but they feel it. And feelings have a way of making themselves known, whether you want them to or not. Here's what makes this moment so powerful for you, my friends. You're not even trying to cause it. You're not sending reminders, not posting bait, not reaching out. You're living, you're growing. You've become the kind of presence that can't be replaced because you're not trying to compete. And in the quiet of their own mind, they know this. Seneca once said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." And in this stage, they start to understand that line in their own way. They realize that some of the most important parts of their life, the ones they thought they could discard and replace, are gone. And the life they're living now, as shiny as it looked from a distance, feels incomplete without them. This is when memory stops being an occasional visitor and starts becoming a constant companion. They can be in the middle of a crowded party, and suddenly their mind flashes to a night when it was just you and them. No noise, no crowd, just connection. They can be laughing at someone's joke, and halfway through, remember the way your laugh used to sound when you couldn't stop yourself. And no matter how good things look around them, those memories will start to color everything. Reality begins to lose its flavor when you've tasted something better. The irony is, this is when they might start convincing themselves to reach out. Not because they're ready to admit regret, but because they want to see if you still feel it too. And that's where your power lies, my friends. Not in waiting for that moment, but in not needing it. Because the moment you stop needing their acknowledgement is the same moment they'll crave it the most. Write this in the comments. My past will not be my prison. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that while they're still wrestling with memories, you're busy creating a present so full and so strong that no comparison can touch it. And stay with me. Because next, we're going to talk about the moment when their carefully constructed control starts to slip right through their fingers. And that, my friends, is when the cracks turn into collapses. Number 4, when their control starts to slip. Control isn't power. It's an illusion that crumbles the moment no one plays along. My friends, some people don't just want connection. They want control. They want to dictate the rhythm, decide when things start and when they end, when they open the door and when they slam it shut. Control is their safety net. It convinces them they're untouchable, that they'll never be caught off guard, that they'll always have the upper hand. And for a while they believe it. When they walked away or pushed you back, they thought they were steering the ship. They imagined you stranded in their wake, waving for them to turn around. They told themselves, if I just keep my distance, they'll break first. They'll come crawling back. That belief fed their ego like a steady drip of fuel. But here's the flaw in that thinking. Control only works when the other person is still reacting. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you step off the stage completely, their entire script falls apart. At first, they think your silence is a tactic. They think you're just pausing to make them nervous before coming back. So they wait, they watch. They post something carefully designed to poke at you. Maybe a photo, a quote, a subtle jab. They expect you to bite, but you don't. Then they try again, in more indirect ways. They might mention you to mutual friends, just to see if the words make their way back. They might drop hints online, test the waters without getting their hands wet. Still nothing. And that's when a strange new feeling starts to creep in. Uncertainty. The attention they used to get from you is gone. The reassurance that you'd always be there, waiting in the wings, has vanished. And without that, their sense of control begins to wobble. It's like they've been walking a tightrope with a safety net, and suddenly the net is gone. This is where the unraveling begins. They start checking your social media, not once in a while, but regularly. They start noticing things they didn't before. The way you look more at peace, the way you're posting without subtext, the way you seem to be moving forward without looking back. And that is a dangerous sight for their ego to see. Because control, my friends, thrives on the idea that you need them, even if you don't admit it. When they realize you're not chasing, not asking questions, not trying to get back in their orbit, they're faced with a reality they weren't ready for. You were always free to walk away, and now you have. It's like they're holding sand in their hands. At first it feels secure, but the more they grip it, the more it slips through their fingers. And no matter how much they try to tighten their grasp, the sand keeps falling. You have to understand, this loss of control doesn't just bother them, it threatens their identity. If they've built their sense of worth on being the one in charge, then losing that role feels like losing themselves. And people will go to great lengths to avoid facing that truth. So they might act out. They might send cold messages just to gauge your temperature. They might suddenly show bursts of interest followed by withdrawal. They might even try to pull you into subtle arguments, anything to get an emotional reaction. Because for them, any reaction, love, anger, jealousy, is proof they still have a hold on you. But when you don't give them that proof, when you stay calm, consistent and focused on your own growth, that's when the panic sets in. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free," and your bravery here is in not needing their permission to move forward. That freedom, my friends, is the one thing they can't take from you, and it's the one thing they can't stand to see you holding. The more they see it, the more desperate they become to pull you back into the old dynamic. But desperation disguised as indifference is easy to spot when you've learned to value your own peace. You'll notice the little spikes of attention, the sudden attempts to check in, the questions passed through others. And you'll know exactly what they mean. Not love, not care, but an attempt to regain control. The most dangerous thing for someone who thrives on control is realizing they're no longer part of your decision-making. You're not waking up wondering what they'll say today. You're not dressing for their approval. You're not adjusting your mood based on their moods. You've taken yourself out of their hands completely. And that's the thing about real control. It was never theirs to begin with. You just allowed them to believe it was. Now, when they scroll past your life, they see someone who's not only survived without them, but is thriving. They see your calm, your focus, your refusal to play games. And that calm isn't just confusing, it's intimidating. Because deep down, they know they can't compete with someone who's no longer competing at all. They start to realize that while they were busy trying to control the situation, they lost the only thing that mattered, the connection. And once control is gone, once the strings are cut, there's no pulling the puppet back. And here's where you win without lifting a finger. You're not waiting for their control to slip so you can swoop in. You're not lingering by the door, hoping they'll let you back in. You've already walked away from the house entirely. You've chosen your own space, your own rhythm, your own peace. That, my friends, is when their control doesn't just slip, it shatters. Because now they're left with the truth. They weren't steering the ship. They were just trying to hold on to someone who decided to swim for themselves. Write this in the comments. I choose my freedom. Show them, show yourself, show the world that the only control worth having is over your own mind. And stay with me, because next we're going to talk about the moment that shakes them deeper than they ever expected, when they see you detach without revenge and realize they've lost something they can never get back. Number 5. When you detach without revenge. Nothing unsettles the guilty more than the grace of the one they wronged. My friends, most people are ready for war. They are prepared for a fight when they hurt someone. They brace themselves for the yelling, the bitterness, the icy responses, the little digs meant to make them feel bad. They expect you to lash out, to try to make them jealous, to throw words like knives. They've seen it before, maybe even done it themselves. And in their mind, that's how things always go. Hurt people hurt back. So, when you don't, when you meet their betrayal, their disrespect, or their absence with nothing but calm detachment, it shakes something deep inside them. Not because you've gone silent in anger, but because you've gone silent in peace. See, revenge is easy to process. If you try to hurt them back, they can still put themselves at the center of your actions. They can say they're just mad because they still care. Look how much energy they're putting into me. Even your anger is proof to them that they still matter. But detachment without revenge, that's different. That says, you no longer have a claim here. My life no longer revolves around you. I'm not playing this game, not because I'm losing, but because I don't want to play. And that is far more powerful than any angry outburst. Imagine a stage where two actors have been performing the same heated scene for months. You know the one. Accusations, comebacks, raised voices, endless back and forth. They've memorized their lines. They're ready for the next cue. But instead of delivering your next line, you set down your script and walk off the stage entirely. The lights are still on. They're still standing there, waiting for you to say something, but you're gone. That's what detachment without revenge feels like. They expected you to match their chaos, to prove your worth through confrontation, to scramble to fix what they broke. Instead, you turned inward. You poured your energy into yourself. You didn't need to announce your absence. You simply became absent. And that silence holds more weight than any speech you could have delivered. What unsettles them most is that your detachment isn't fake. It's not an act to get a reaction. You're not posting indirect quotes aimed at them. You're not creating scenes in public or trying to make them jealous. You're not even moving on with a performance to show how over it you are. You're just living, and living well. There's a saying, if you want to see someone's true character, watch how they react when they realize they've lost control over you. This is that moment, because when they see that you've detached without bitterness, they can no longer use the story that you're just mad to protect their ego. They're forced to face the possibility that you've genuinely accepted the loss and that you're actually better for it. And here's the part that cuts them deepest. They realize your strength was never in how much you fought to keep them. Your strength was in how gracefully you let them go. You didn't collapse when they left. You didn't crumble under the weight of their rejection. You stood still, steady, and silent, and in doing so, you proved something they weren't ready to see. You never needed them to define your worth. Revenge fades. Anger burns out. But indifference, real, grounded, unshakable indifference, lingers. It's the kind of thing they can't out-argue, can't twist into something else, can't use to make themselves feel powerful again. It just sits there, in their mind, as a constant reminder that they are no longer a part of your world. They might tell themselves you're faking it, that you're secretly watching their every move, waiting for the right moment to strike, that you're just pretending to be at peace. But every day that passes without a crack in your calm chips away at that belief. Because sooner or later, they see it's not an act, it's who you've become. And that's what truly terrifies them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." You've taken that to heart. You're not matching their pettiness with your own. You're not living to prove them wrong. You're simply living in a way that makes their drama irrelevant. And in a world where so many people measure their worth by the chaos they can create, your peace is a mirror that shows them everything they failed to be. They start noticing the absence in ways they didn't expect. The absence of your voice when they try to stir conflict. The absence of your name in conversations. The absence of your presence in their audience. And that absence becomes heavier than any insult you could have thrown at them. This is the kind of loss they can't spin into a win, because they can't claim victory over someone who didn't even try to fight. They can't claim control over someone who walked away without a word. They can't feel powerful over someone whose life has moved on without looking back. And here's where you must be careful. This is the moment they're most likely to test you. They may try to provoke you, to pull you back into the old game. They may send you messages with just enough emotion to spark a reply. They may float back into your orbit pretending they just want to check in. But understand this, none of that is about love. It's about re-establishing the control they lost. Your power lies in staying the course, in remembering that detachment without revenge isn't a performance for them. It's a promise to yourself. It's a commitment to live free from the push and pull of someone else's ego. And when they finally realize that you're not coming back, that your life is moving forward without them, that their name no longer carries weight in your decisions, that's when the reality hits them hardest. Not because they lost someone who hated them, but because they lost someone who let them go with grace. Write this in the comments. My peace is my answer. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you don't need revenge to win. And stay with me, because next, we'll step into the quietest and most dangerous moment of all, when life slows down and reflection forces them to face the truth they've been running from. Number 6. When life calms down and reflection kicks in. It's not the storm that breaks you, it's the silence after, when there's nothing left to distract you from yourself. My friends, this is the moment they never saw coming. In the beginning, life after you feels like a rush. They fill every hour, every space with something: people, noise, distractions, movement. They keep the music loud, the nights long, the calendar packed. It's not an accident, it's survival. Because if they keep running, they don't have to feel. If they keep talking, they don't have to hear their own thoughts. If they keep chasing, they don't have to notice the emptiness. But life doesn't stay loud forever. Crowds thin, notifications slow, parties start feeling repetitive. The people who once made them feel important stop calling as often. That constant high from attention, it fades, and suddenly the busy chaos they used to rely on to drown out the truth is gone. Now, for the first time in a long time, it's just them and their thoughts. And stillness, my friends, is a dangerous place for someone who's been running from the truth. At first, it's just little moments. Sitting alone at night and realizing the phone hasn't buzzed in hours. Watching the light fade from the window and feeling that quiet ache they can't name. A song comes on, a song they haven't heard since you were in their life, and without warning, their chest tightens. A familiar smell drifts through the air, pulling them into a memory they didn't invite. They'll try to shake it off, tell themselves it's just nostalgia, just random, just a trick of the mind. But here's the thing about reflection. It doesn't ask for permission. It arrives quietly, sits down across from you, and starts putting pieces on the table you thought you'd thrown away. The images come back in flashes, you laughing at something ridiculous, the way you looked at them when they weren't paying attention, the little kindnesses you gave without being asked, the patience you showed when they were cold, the times you gave them every reason to doubt you, and they never could. And then the real weight starts to settle, not as a sharp stab, but as a slow, heavy pull. They start realizing that the moments they dismissed, the gestures they overlooked, the loyalty they took for granted, were rare. Not the kind of rare you can scroll through an app to find again. The kind of rare you lose once, and then measure everyone else against without even realizing it. It's in this stillness that the truth gets louder. Not the version of the story they told themselves or others, not the justifications they clung to. The truth, that you weren't the one who failed them, that you gave them something genuine before they were ready to receive it, that they didn't walk away because you weren't enough. They walked away because they didn't know how to hold something real. And here's the cruel irony. Time doesn't soften this realization. It sharpens it. Because the further they get from you, the more they see that your presence wasn't common, that the way you made them feel wasn't standard, that the connection they had with you doesn't appear just because they're ready for it now. They'll remember the moments you would have shown up without question, the way you understood them without them having to explain, the comfort you brought without making a scene about it. And in that quiet reflection, they'll start to understand. They didn't just lose a person. They lost the version of themselves that only existed when they were with you. It's not regret at first. Regret would require them to face the full scope of their choice, and pride won't let them do that just yet. It's recognition, that subtle, haunting awareness that something is missing, and they know exactly what it is. Stillness has a way of stripping away all the illusions, all the I'm fine performances, all the distractions they swore were happiness. And when all that's left is them, the silence becomes a mirror. And that mirror doesn't lie. This is why I tell you, your silence, your peace, your refusal to chase, it all leads here. Because the truth is, they don't miss you when you're trying to remind them of your worth. They miss you when you've remembered it yourself. They don't start to ache when you're still standing at the door. They ache when they turn around and see you've locked it behind you, not in anger, but in acceptance. And here's the part that should motivate you most. You're not waiting for this moment. You're not hanging your happiness on their realization. You've already built a life they can't step back into. You've filled your space with your own growth, your own joy, your own peace. So when this reflection finally catches up to them, it won't be an invitation back. It will be a reminder that they can't return to a version of you that no longer exists. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." You've been living by that without even realizing it. You've cut out the false performances. You've stopped fighting for something that wasn't fighting for you. You've made peace your default, not your weapon. And that's why, when they finally face the truth, it will hit harder than any revenge ever could. Because they'll see it all at once. The love they had, the safety they felt, the understanding they'll never find again. And they'll see you, not bitter, not broken, but brighter than before. That image will live in their mind far longer than anger ever would. So, my friends, if you find yourself in this stage right now, if you've reached the calm, if life has quieted, if you're wondering whether they're feeling it too, trust me, they will. Not when you push, not when you beg, not when you perform, but when you disappear into your own peace so completely that they have no choice but to notice the space you once filled. Write this in the comments. I choose peace over pain. Show them, show yourself. Show the world that your power isn't in making them miss you. It's in making sure you never lose yourself again. And stay with me, because what's coming next will bring every step of this journey together, and you'll see exactly how all of it, the silence, the self-respect, the growth, turns you into someone unforgettable. Number 7. When they finally start missing you for real. They don't miss you when you're there. They miss you when they finally realize they can't get back to who you were. My friends, here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Missing you for real doesn't happen when you're chasing them, when you're checking in, or when you're trying to prove your worth. That kind of missing is shallow, temporary. It's about ego, not heart. Real missing, the kind that settles in their bones, the kind they can't shake even when they try, only begins when you stop giving them the thing they always thought they could come back to. It starts quietly. At first, they tell themselves they're fine without you. They believe the story they created, that you were the one who lost, that they walked away on top. And for a while, that story works because it protects their pride. But then, over time, the cracks appear. And those cracks are made up of every moment they expected you to show up. And you didn't. Every post they thought you'd react to, and you stayed silent. Every situation where they thought you'd fight for them, and you chose peace instead. It's like living in a house they've visited 1,000 times, knowing the door is always unlocked, only to show up one day and find it not just locked, but gone. The house isn't there anymore. The street has changed. The world they thought they could return to no longer exists. And that's when the panic sets in. Because here's the secret. They didn't just value having you, they valued knowing you were there. Even if they didn't admit it, your presence was a safety net. Your care was their insurance policy. As long as you were still in their orbit, they never had to face the full weight of what life would feel like without you. But now you're gone in the way that matters most. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're simply not available. And that kind of absence is louder than any confrontation. This is when they start replaying everything. The way you listened when no one else cared. The way you understood them without explanation. The way your presence made them feel grounded, safe, seen. They start remembering details they never noticed before, the little things you did without fanfare, the ways you showed love without keeping score. And every one of those memories comes with the sharp sting of realization. They can't get that back. The ego hates this stage because it has no defense against it. In the past, if they missed you, they could reach out and reignite the connection. They could pull you back with a few well-placed words or gestures. But now, you're no longer playing that role. You're no longer reachable in the same way, not because you're hiding, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself that needed to be reached. And this is the shift, my friends. This is the exact moment the missing turns real, when they understand that you didn't just walk away from them, you walked toward yourself. You rebuilt. You filled your life with things that make you whole without them. You became someone who doesn't just survive without them, you thrive. It's important to understand that this isn't about punishment. You're not doing this to make them ache. You're doing this because you've learned the most valuable lesson anyone can learn after losing someone. Your worth is not proven by how hard you fight to stay in someone else's life. Your worth is proven by how deeply you choose to honor your own. They will try to rationalize it. They'll tell themselves you must be pretending. They'll convince themselves you're still watching, still waiting, still hoping. But every time they test it and find nothing, no reaction, no signal, no opening, that illusion fades a little more. And what replaces it is the truth they've been avoiding. They didn't think they could lose you for good. Now they know they have. Here's the irony. They will feel this most when something in their current life goes wrong. When the people they leaned on don't show up. When the attention fades, when the excitement of new connections dulls into routine, that's when the memory of you will hit hardest. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. And real doesn't leave a person easily. It's like a scent they can't wash out of their clothes, a song they can't get out of their head, a landmark in their mind they keep coming back to. The missing won't be constant. It will come in waves. But when those waves hit, they'll crash hard because each one will remind them of something irreplaceable. And that's the point. You've become irreplaceable not by clinging to them, but by letting go. You've turned your absence into a presence so powerful that it follows them into every room, every conversation, every quiet moment. You've made your peace your statement. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And that's exactly what you've done. You've freed yourself from the fear of losing them. You've freed yourself from the need to be chosen. And in that freedom, you've become someone they can't forget, because they'll never meet another you. This, my friends, is the final stage. This is when they start missing you for real. Not when you're still in their shadow, not when you're still halfway in their life, but when you've stepped into your own light so completely that they can only see you from a distance. And that distance is the one thing they'll never be able to close again. So if you're wondering whether they'll ever get it, whether they'll ever feel the weight of what they lost, understand this: they will. Not because you forced it, but because the truth has a way of catching up. And when it does, they'll remember. Not the fights, not the endings, but the way it felt when you were theirs. And that feeling will haunt them in ways they'll never admit out loud. Write this in the comments. I am unforgettable because I am real. Say it, show it, live it. And if this spoke to you, if it reminded you of your own worth, then press that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so we can keep walking this journey together. Because, my friends, the world will try to make you believe your value depends on someone else seeing it. But here, we remind each other of the truth. Your value is yours, and no one can take it away.